right, we're glad to have you back on Sunrise on Salt Television. Oh yes, Amaka is the chicken is in the house. Hey, hello. So she took a short break and decided to go and refresh with her hobby and all that, and she thinks she can make me jealous because her husband's place is closer than mine. Anyways,
people are terrible.
How was it, Amaka? Welcome back.
What will I say? I'm just saying people are terrible, really. There are accusations that get thrown at you and you don't know what to say. People are terrible, my sister. You agree, Abby?
I don't agree. Okay, I don't know. I don't know the angle you're coming from. Who are the people? People. Who are the people?
All these ones are guilty conscience personal accusations. People are terrible. Yes or no?
See how you were. See, I'm like, Amaka, are you not back from this your honeymooning after -3?
Please,
you even had to come late.
Laura, calm down now. May not wash our dirty linen.
No, it's our clean linens.
You had done your vow before now. Allow those of us who are aspiring to do our own, please.
Aspiring.
Yes, aspiring.
I hear.
By the way, you look amazing in your black.
Thank you. And you look so refreshed. You look really refreshed. I hear.
Thank you. That's why I have the newspaper headlines for you this morning. And we'll be looking at 4 different newspapers. We'll have the Sun newspaper, we'll have the Punch, we have Vanguard, and we have Thursday. We're going to be beginning with Sun newspaper. Quite a lot of things have been happening in the country as we know it, and it's our pleasure to bring you up to speed with some of those things. So let's start with the Sun newspapers and see what the Sun newspapers has for us this morning. If we could just have a picture of the front pages of the Sun, that would be awesome. All right, let's begin with the Sun newspapers. On the headlines, Fubara talks tough. And there is a writer there says he's not scared of leaving office. Assembly asks governor to present budget within 48 hours. We also have Dangote NNPPC price war shakes fuel market. There is a rider, marketers struggle as NNPC slashes petrol price to 860 naira per litre. Now we've got the other one, Catholic bishops reject schools closure in Bauchi with a rider, kick against government's directive over Ramadan. And now we have FEC approves 11 new private varsities, 885 billion naira for Odukpani Itu Road, others. Akpabio Akpoti Udwaran saga. Over 360 women groups demand public hearing. 55 CSOs preach peace out of court settlement. And then state creation reps panel sets new deadline for submission of proposals. Obasa re-elected Lagos Speaker. That's it on the Sun newspaper this morning. So which of them? Now on Fubara talks tough. There's been this power tussle in Rivers State, right? Between Wike and Fubara, right? We know all that happened. The Martins Emawule led National Assembly being sacked from power. Now a Supreme Court judgment has returned them to power, and Fubara has said he accepts the court verdict in good faith, right? But then there is a catch. The Martins Emawule's led House of Assembly on the first day of sitting, that's on Monday, said something striking. They said Fubara has 48 hours to resubmit the 2025 budgets or else. Fubara is busy calling for peace, asking people not, especially the youth, to remain calm, that everything is under control, so they should stay calm. But then there are quite a lot of, youth groups in Rivers State that are saying, okay, I think I will not take that other story on that's Punch. That other story on Punch, because we see lots of young people, talking tough on that. Now, on Punch, we see Niger Delta groups threatens violence as budget ultimatum expires today, talking about the National Assembly giving Fubara 48 hours. So today is the expiry date, and we are waiting to see what happens in Rivers State. First Bank holds groundbreaking ceremony for new state-of-the-art eco-friendly headquarters. All right, and that's it. Upon completion, this 40-story edifice will have the honor of being the tallest building in Nigeria.
Okay,
let's hold on to that, because we see this particular story of Niger Delta in every single newspaper that we'll be looking at today.
Okay.
So let's see on this day how it's captured on this day. It says, we will resist any forceful attempt to impeach Fubara. INC, that's Ijaw National Council, IYC, Ijaw Youth Council, one assembly. Now we have riders condemn Supreme Court verdict. Frank alleges ploy to doctor judgment. We have taken verdict in good faith, says AA. 2015 chairman threatened to occupy councils. Governor, our people will suffer no more. It's a lot on this Fubara issue. And even if when we check Vanguard newspaper says Rivers crisis leaders INC talk tough. And then if we would want to take the riders, it says Ijaw Nation wants against impeachment, because National Assembly is saying, I mean, if this budget is not presented, okay, what we will do. So Ijaw Nation is warning against impeachment of Fubara, says Apex Court judgment parochial. Once it can't organize, it can guarantee peace in Niger Delta if tension escalates. We are watching development. APC says Rivers releases timetable for fresh council polls, meets stakeholders today, and sacked Rivers local government chairman vow to retake secretariat. It's just too much. So we are going to come back to the newspapers, but let's just hear. Laura has been itching to say something on the
not really. It's just, I think Rivers is a ticking time bomb. And, the National Assembly, Nigerians, the Rivers State people should please begin to de-escalate tension. Because if nothing is done the way it is going, Amaka, it might not be contained if the violence should break. Because we are looking at this issue of representation of budgets, giving 48 hours ultimatum, and now the Ijaw youths are coming out. And don't forget, this is an area that is highly militarized.
Yeah.
There are a lot of militants there. People are waiting to see any. In fact, they are just looking for one small trigger to come out and start wreaking havoc. And I think that whatever it will take, let the parties come together. That's my take. Let the parties come together and see how these issues can be resolved amicably.
That is assuming we have leaders in the country who think of the people, because I think most times what we have are leaders who are actually, selfish. Well, about themselves.
Yeah, and that is why we are making the appeal, because without the people there will be no leader. Because when you allow this, you don't know. They say he that lives in a glass house should not throw stone, because you don't know where it's going to land. You might think because you're a leader, okay, you have the army, you have whatever backing you, and at the end of the day, you don't know who will actually suffer. When violence starts, you won't say this is the angle it will take eventually. So I think that our leaders, it is high time they started thinking about the people, not about themselves, not about power. I like what Fubara said that, he's not afraid to leave power.
Yeah, he said, yesterday I was watching him and he said something. He said, so what's the worst that could happen? I'll leave office, right?
Just like what Jonathan said.
What happens?
Exactly.
My life would go on and
I like that stance, because if you recall, in 2015, when Buhari came into power, I believe it was in 2015, yes, and Jonathan said, people were pushing, let's contain, let's contest.
My ambition is not worth the life of any
life or blood of any single Nigerian. And he stood by it, and that is why today he is seen as a peacemaker. You understand? So I think that honestly, the recurrence of these problems with rivers, precisely Wike and Fubara, they need to shed their swords.
Well, I think this particular issue calls for a lot more intelligence,
yes,
right? Because
it does.
This chairman we are talking about, we are actually removed in 2015.
Yeah.
Right? In was that 2015 when Wike came into power? These guys were sworn in by Amechi, and then Wike came in being a lawyer and all of that. He just twisted so many things, and those guys were removed from office. And this case has been in courts, really. And I think it's about time we stopped, having the courts favor the ruling party. Can we just do things with equity, for once?
Exactly.
Right? Because this whole thing is if we say government is a continuum and we keep having, when
one party comes in and the other party is thrown out, we are not looking at the leadership abilities of those that are in office, and even the constituents they represent, and those who voted them into those offices. You are not taking cognizance. You just want loyalty. You only want people that are loyal to you, not even to the cause of the state. Do you understand? So it's not okay. It's about time, like you say, that we stopped that kind of personal politics. People have personalized politics. It has become, leadership has become a family thing. I don't know if we're a monarchy or a democracy anymore. I really don't understand.
That takes us to what we saw in that, I think that was Sun newspaper, Obasa returns as speaker. And it's really terrible that Lagos State missed an opportunity to have the first female speaker, really. I really feel
bad about that.
But then when Miranda, I watched the clip about when Miranda was, saying she steps down. What you could just see is that the people that we have in different offices as representatives, our representatives in government, most of them do not deserve to be there, really. It's just a question of who do you know, who is backing you.
Exactly.
So they bring you in.
And this was an opportunity for Lagos State government to be free for once. Since 1999. This was a very beautiful opportunity for Lagos State to break free and say, okay, on our own, we can make decisions and stand by it. This godfatherism, how can a speaker be lawfully removed based on evidence-based impeachment? And then you go away and then you come back with impunity and say, I will still remain the speaker. And lo and behold, it's done.
I do not have that. I do not have that tweet, but someone tweeted yesterday, and part of what caught my attention in that tweet was that the person said that there is a reason why Obasa was returned, because the powers that be know that if Obasa is not returned,
a lot of
information will be revealed.
Yes.
Anyway, let's look at more on Vanguard newspaper and see what we have there. National Assembly positioning Nigeria for $1 million economy by 2030, according to the Senate. Power generation hits 5,713 megawatts. That's TCN. Ogoni, Mosop, 31 groups demand justice for Sarawiwa. And then we have this other one, Nigeria deepens trade investments with 5 countries. But the one that really interests me right here is alleged sexual harassment. Khan opposes calls for Akpabio's resignation. 16 burnt to death as gas cylinder explodes in vehicle. And then we have the Mr. and Mrs. that will be looking at after now. Lagos Assembly says no plan to compel Obasa to resign. Lagos APC. And on insecurity, we will subject Okite boxes to forensic analysis.
Oh my God!
That's the rest of the stories we have on Vanguard. This Okite, you're so very interested. Let me hear your thought on that.
No. Before we go to the Okite, in fact, Okite is like savoring the best for the last. You know. But I'm interested in the angle of Khan coming into the issue of. They should not pressurize the Senate president to resign. I was thinking that, okay, let's look at the moral of the story.
Okay.
You understand? There's been an accusation and counter-accusation that this Senate president has been high-handed, especially as it has to do with women in the Senate. You understand?
Yeah.
So if Khan is now interested in the story, I think they should investigate and find out this accusation isn't really true. For crying out loud, these are his office is the third office in the federation. If, for instance,
The number 3 man.
no, number 3 man. What are you
Nigeria.
talking about? So it's a revered office. It is an office that you must be held accountable for any single mistake. You are in the public domain. So we cannot afford to be having scandal after scandal after scandal in that office. So if Khan is now saying, do not pressurize him to resign, under what premise?
Okay, so what Khan is actually saying is that the law says no one is guilty until proven so, right? And they are saying that if we put pressure on Akpabio to resign, it would seem like he's been found guilty.
But you know, in the same time, even if you're defending yourself, you step aside.
And then just hold on. And then Pandev, ACF, the Arewa Consultative Forum,
yeah,
now came up with a different twist to say that why is it that they're always impeaching northern senators? That the northern senators in the House should rise up in defense of their own being Natasha, right? And then it's a whole lot. And then Pandev. Yeah, just hold on.
Oh my God.
And then Pandev, that is the Niger Delta.
Yes, Pan-African Niger Delta.
Yeah.
Yes.
So those ones are now saying that we should actually wait and let this thing, let this whole thing play out. Let there be investigations and all of that, because if the northern the Arewa Consultative Forum begins to call the North into this, now it now becomes North versus South, which is not exactly very good.
No, it's not. That's not the politics we want to play.
And then Khan is calling for calm. Everyone should calm down.
And I also saw that the women were even protesting.
Oh yes,
I saw that in Akwa Ibom
over the weekend.
Yes, leave our son alone. Leave our son, and I'm like, what's going on here? They should please not see. They should not even play that politics. It will not work.
But there is something I need you to notice now. Maybe you haven't really noticed this, so I'm going to take you through it. Right after Akpabio's interview on Arise Television, where she gave the details of how this governor has, this Senate president has harassed him.
You mean Akpoti? That's Oduagana. Natasha's
yes, after
interview.
Natasha's interview.
Yeah.
On that same day, just after the break, the APC women leader was on the interview, and it was such it was so horrifying that I decided to ask around and see if there is a new development in TV that allows you to put your hands through the screen and slap the person for what the person is saying, because everything she was saying was painting this other lady black. Like, I mean, why should she say she's being harassed? This one, that one, that one. And when Prof. Killer asked and said, are you going to do anything about this? Can you be proactive and say maybe you're going to be setting up a committee to investigate this? She said, if she is contacted, right? And then we had that interview with, there is this other senator. There are just 4 senators in the House of Senate, right? The longest serving senator, I'll remember her name. She came to the House and said, she was also on a Rise TV, and she said something. She said that Natasha did tell her once that she was having, she was going to be meeting the Senate president in a hotel.
That's Kingibe.
Ireti Kingibe. And she said that meetings are not held in hotels, right? But Natasha said, well, that's where the Senate president asked her to meet him. But then she said something like Natasha is sort of withdrawn from them, kind of. She's always on her own, and she's doing this. At the end of the day, what you're seeing is someone who is trying to say that maybe really this woman did what warranted whatever is happening to her. And then we
There's the blame game.
Yeah, and then we had I don't want to even talk about Akpabio's wife. Then we have this other lady come up for an interview, Florence Itagewa. And from all she said, it's also like saying that this woman deserved to be harassed. Because she went on to say, if you do not want to be harassed, then you have to be confident in yourself and be unapproachable. Like no one should. I don't know really, but the fact is this: if there has been a case of harassment against anyone, then the right thing is this: can we just all put whatever it is
our
we
personal
have
feelings aside
and call for a thorough investigation. If it were in saner climes, Ababia doesn't need to be told to resign.
To step aside.
He would do the honorable thing and step aside. And that's why Saraki came one time and even said he had a case sometime, even though it was not sexual harassment case. But on the day that this case, after the House Committee on Ethics had done their investigation, on the day of hearing, he stepped aside and allowed the deputy to, chair proceedings. Can we just have someone on X said, after the Natasha issue, someone on X said, make Akpabio just do PIM, that they have evidences, right, about all of this.
And as a matter of fact, Natasha herself said she has evidence to back her claims. Yes, there are evidences too. So she's not just talking. So perhaps when the chips are down, we'll begin to see the evidence. You understand? So, but I don't like the stance that the female. I'm not saying that you should take side with a female when she's wrong. Do you understand? But for crying out loud, let's give the benefit of the doubt. Let's investigate. Look at what she has brought to the table. Is there any truth to it? And if there is, how do we address it? To stop further harassment of any other person. It could be a male. It could be another female in the house.
All right, so as we just wrap up the newspaper reviews this morning, can we see, can we zoom in on Mr. and Mrs. Vanguard?
Vanguard. Let's see what they have to say this
Mr. and Mrs.,